And let me pull up this Barry video. So this is a video of a patch that came out around a year ago.
Is it the exact same or has it changed a bit? It's very polarizing at the moment. I'm going to go through pace, passing, dribbling, physicality, and nets and talk about a couple of different tweaks to the overall gameplay. Is it any different? Let's find out. And as ever, get in touch in the comments below and let me know your impressions and thoughts. So we're going to start with pace, boys, and get into the overall speed of the game. Am I tripping, or do these clips look like there's been a slight tweak to when you get a little bit of room from your opponent that they don't really catch you? Now you might have a look at these clips and say, yeah, but Salah should never, be caught by a defender like this. But it was actually happening with a little bit more regular. Never, be caught by opponents that they don't really catch you. Now you might slight tweak to when you get a
I think at the moment, if you wanted to stay clear Shumani there, you have the sharp touch. Straight sprinting, you're only going to be ahead for a
little bit of room from your opponents that they don't really catch you. Now you might have a look at these clips and say, yeah, but Salah should never, be caught by a defender like this. But it was actually happening with a little bit more regularity before v3.3. Again, I honestly don't know, am I tripping or not? Get in touch in the comments below. Here's a noticeable one here that when we just take it here, we just leave him for dead. And then also the cutting in. When you seem to cut in now, there seems to be a little bit more acceleration.
I actually remember. I remember.
Here's a noticeable.
Like in the there was old patches where if you cut in here,
we just leave him for dead.
You see how the defense drops and gives you space to run into. Now I feel like the defense is like, I don't know if the defense might still drop, but I think the midfielders come back quicker or something. I feel like this cutting into space here.
Sorry, I recorded this on stream and got a little bit distracted, but essentially what I was trying to communicate there was that in the current gameplay, when you cut in there, I don't know what the specific change is, whether it's the defense drops or the midfield drops quicker or just the overall AI defending, but I feel like you don't have as much space in between the midfield and the defenders there. All right, back to the video.
And then also the cutting in. When you seem to cut in now, there seems to be a little bit more acceleration. It seems to be about 5%, which can be considered placebo a lot of the times, depending on who you're running with, when they're running, how much stamina that they have. But it was not unusual before v3.3 for you to be caught in these straight lines. Again, you'll see here the distance that you cover when you give a true ball, when you're running onto the ball. You can see it here. And these players that I'm using are not like 100 speed, 100 acceleration overall. But the cutting angle...
Yeah, like I think this clip with Neymar here...
onto the ball.
Oh, it's not even Neymar, it's Bin Bin.
See it here.
And I actually knew Bin Bin was in Barry's chat earlier. I was watching Barry earlier. Just running a straight line like this and stay away from the defender. I think it kind of is possible now, but you need Gareth Bale or something. But it's hard to kind of compare though, because he's using Bin Bin, who now definitely would be able to do that, but at the time might not have been. I don't know who he is really, but might not have been as slow. And Calvin Phillips isn't a great card anyway. He's not catching up. He's not catching up. Should you want me to slow it down again? I can't watch videos at 1x speed, man. It does my head in.
Overall. But the cutting angled kind of runs
sounds like slow-mo to me.
Tweaked a tiny bit. As I said, I don't know, am I 100% kind of right even in this?
Barry, you're 100% right. You always are.
There. We're also going to talk about dribbling. So this kind of falls into something that I feel I have tested massively. Like I've tested this. We're going to see some similar clips of tight turns, tight cutting. I think the game has given a little bit more freedom within tight position and tight positions and tight possessions. Like you can see here with the little dribbles. Now, obviously,
okay, yeah, look at the way he's turning, man. That's not
positions and tight. I think the game has given a little bit more freedom within tight position and tight
yeah, he's turning quick there with the left stick.
Like you can see here with the little dribbles. Now, obviously, ignoring the bad.
Yeah, you can't turn like that at the moment.
And tight possessions.
Like, I feel like your player
here with the little dribbles.
Is he sprinting? I can't even tell if he's sprinting or not.
Ignoring the bad defending from the opponent. That's going to be something that's pointed out in the comments, and rightly so. But it's this kind of like tight left stick dribbling with the R1 or your special controls, whatever button on your bumper that you don't use for sprint. So I use R2 to sprint.
Okay, so he isn't sprinting. He's talking about special controls. It's not. It was never a thing. It was always placebo. But that's mad that's just left stick dribbling, because if we go into the game now and I just left stick dribble, like look how much slower it's gonna be. Like that honestly looked like sprint a little bit to me. I couldn't tell. Whereas if you compare it to now, like look at the difference. Surely he was pressing something in that. I know he's saying he's pressing special controls, but never did anything. That's a mad difference
from the opponent. That's going to be something that's pointed out in the comments, and rightly so. But it's this kind of like tight left stick dribbling with the R1 or your special control, whatever button on your bumper that you don't use for sprint. So I use R2 to sprint. That is going to be the difference here with R1, and then taking your hand off it, putting on the R1 again, left stick dribbling. There's a lot to like about that. Again, with the turns here, little sharp turn. Beautiful double touch.
I think that turn you can still do,
and the responsiveness in those tight positions. Now, this one definitely I feel is dependent on how you play, and I feel like that if you do a lot of tight dribbling in the box and you come up against
I think
is dependent on how you play, and I
think just if we slow this down, like just the way he's able to turn to Messi here at the moment, if you want to do this, I feel like
if you do a lot of tight.
I don't know, like
this one definitely
is it the dribbling's more responsive, or is it his opponent is terrible?
is dependent on how you play.
He's definitely on
and
kit now.
I feel like that if you do a
Like,
lot
look at his
of
defender,
tight
man. He's sprinting
dribbling
out with
in the
Marquinhos, so I don't know
box,
if it's a good
and you come up against a
example.
guy that's a good defender, a lot of this
Good
stuff
job.
doesn't really come into it. But I do feel that they've also probably just opened it up a little bit more
But like,
in these tight
is his opponent a bad defender, or is his opponent someone that you play now and defends perfectly because the AI does it for him? You know what I mean?
pockets of space. The freedom still isn't where I would want it to be in the box. Like you'll see here with Messi, this guy just can't defend my position in here because I'm just in the perfect spot that when I pick the ball up here in this position, it's a one-on-one, which just give him a little cheeky, like 360, and then straight into the double touch before he can react. You know, so I do feel like that's kind of something that's always been in the game. I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, that's brand new feature in V3.3, but it's more so in the tight positions here that when you like take those little touches and they're gone, and then it's that mixture of taking it out in the wide play and being able to cut inside with has been in the game.
Like,
I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, that's brand new
I don't
feature
think
in
you can go outside here. Like, the only reason you're going to be able to dribble on the outside here like this, if you play someone now, is if they just don't use matchup.
So in the tight positions here that when you like take
he's
those
using second man press,
and then it's that mixture of taking it out in the wide play and being able to cut inside with little tiny.
I wonder if second man press would shut you down as well.
This is all left stick dribbling, lads. There's nothing major about this, and I'm using a player that a lot of you guys might.
Nah, look at how much. We need to get this on 1 time speed because look at how much faster he is moving.
Dribbling, lads. There's nothing major about this, and I'm using a player
apparently
that
this is left stick dribbling.
Might not know. But he's a cult hero on the channel.
There's definitely sprints in there. There's definitely sprints in there. Like that's sprint.
Like he doesn't have like what you would consider Neymar-esque dribbling and tricks. But he's able to hold the ball. He's able to cut in. He's able to.
I wish he had the little circle on.
And the most notable thing that I found is in these pockets of space. These tiny little pockets of space. The game was always free enough in these areas, but it's more that when you get into the box here, that the game kind of clogged up a bit. Now we're just going to cut in here. We're going to do a lovely little shot there. It just seems
I miss this as well because this is when I used to play the game and not care about the lack of content. Like I just didn't care because the gameplay was so good. Like I could literally play 20 matches a day and just have fun creating goals. Like it was always just about creating goals, and that was the fun of it.
More fluid.
Whereas now when you're playing this like spammy 1-2 stuff, it's like there's no creativity really. So you'd want to be doing it for a good reason.
Like that's
there really
what I
isn't
would
much
call
good
it,
reason at the
fluidity. Am I wrong? I don't know. Again, I'm looking for your opinions on it because you can pick clips and make it show whatever that you want. But these are just raw clips that I'm showing while we were streaming. They're not cherry picked. These are just raw clips that I'm showing while we were streaming.
But like, I wonder if he hit that skill move now, does the defender just match up and?
But these are just raw clips that I'm showing while we were streaming. They're not cherry picked clips, if you know what I mean. We also need to talk about passing.
The average cherry pick though, that was all against that Rangers fan.
I have switched from playing on a level 3 pass assist to the least pass assist, which is a level 2 pass assist to level 3. So it kind of opens up a lot of these passes where you'll see that they seem to have made a slight variation that if you don't manually defend, the defenders, I don't think they've improved the passing. They definitely haven't nerfed level 1 or, you know, ping pong style passing with the one touches and stuff, which are still very easy to do. But I do feel like what they've done is they've kind of.
Oh, by the way, this is what I'm talking about earlier about nerfing cards,
which are still very nerfed level 1 or.
This is what I'm talking about earlier about nerfing cards.
Passing.
Like this Romario's stats are the exact same now as they were back then.
The one touches and stuff.
If you use this old version of Romario, like you're not scoring that.
But I do feel like what they've done is they've kind of switched up and tweaked
they adjust
the way that the defenders
values
react
of like stats.
to the flight of the ball. That there seems to be a little bit more kind of freedom between where the ball actually goes and where it ends up. Like that pass, in fairness, wasn't really, you know, it wasn't really that much possible. Like, or here, where he's running in a straight track, I cut in, and this is another one. This pass here.
Yeah, this pass is so easy and obvious, and then just the game doesn't let you do it.
There's a lot of clips here that you can see.
It just doesn't let you do it.
This one here with Cruyff, we're kind of splitting it.
If you do this pass now,
there's a lot of clips here that you can see.
It's not gonna take that path. It's gonna go closer to number 14 there, and 14 is gonna run out and get it.
Especially
like as in like the way passing works is dependent on how defending is. Like the path the pass takes is calculated by the defender's interceptions. If the defender has high interceptions, that change the way the ball moves. At the moment, like the interceptions are so strong that it's gonna say to that pass, Cruyff, you just couldn't find Salah. You're bad at passing. Down to 14 here.
This one here with Cruyff, we're kind of splitting it through.
And obviously, like someone could get a clip of hitting a pass like that nowadays, but we're talking about in general. Like if you do it 10 times, what's the likelihood? of actually getting through like that.
Defenders. Now, you can obviously talk about the defensive weakness there, the defensive AI behavior. He should stick out his leg.
I just think it feels better on PS4.
That's just kind of a bigger issue with the game, so to speak, with the way the defenders behave. Sometimes they'll block everything, sometimes they'll block
nothing. I talk about freedom as well. Like, Nez, like that's why I'm liking EAFC at the moment, because I can create different types of goals. Whereas in this game, I do feel like I'm pretty repetitive.
So I do feel like the passing is very dependent. Like that pass
like
there.
That pass there, man. I just said the exact same thing as him. Exact same thing as him. But
so
wait,
I do.
Let me get rid of the captions, alright? Look at it. Look at his winger, right?
I feel like
I don't care if you have Usain Bolt on the left wing here. If he starts off behind the fullback in the current game, and you've got Kevin De Bruyne playing this pass, there's just no hope the player's gonna be able to weight it for like good enough to get the player on the wing in behind. Like, you can't pass it into space.
Passing is very dependent. Like that pass there, like those.
Like that pass should be on way more, and then if you want to intercept it, when once that's loaded up,
sometimes
once that's loaded up, you have to switch it to your fullback.
So I do feel like the passing is very dependent. Like that pass there, like those type of passes, I don't think were as prevalent or prevalent in before V3.3. Again, it's a tiny little tweak. This pass here again, when we go through, watch this pass that you're going to do. I'm just going to like take it on the wide flank. We're going to wait for the runners. We're going to cut in, and then we're going to pick our pass, and then we're going to do our little 1-2 in around the back and a finish. Just kind of adds to the fluidity of it. But I do feel that if you have probably played with level 1 pass assist all the time, that you can, you probably mightn't notice it as much. We're also going to talk about the physicality. So, as I said earlier, lads, it's easy to pick clips and cherry pick it and say like, oh yeah, look at this different, or else pick clips and say, no, this is the very same. The gameplay will allow you to do both. As, I've tried to do here is try to give different, just kind of movements.
Like, look there, man, if like, you were playing right now,
is try to give.
This is a perfect example of the clip Rels just sent us.
Give different.
He turns around, and he gets past Busquets, and he's free for a shot.
I've tried to.
If you do that now, this is what's going to happen. You're going to dribble past Busquets, and then once you've dribbled past them, you're going to get stuck on the defenders, and you won't be able to get free. Like, you're just going to get stuck like this, and then bogged down. Like, that's a massive difference. And like I said it when eFootball 25 came out, like, this new physical system, it just major nerf to dribbling. And it's also, at the start of the game, everyone was saying how high physical contact players are good. And I was like the only one, I think, saying they're actually bad, because it actually forces your player into engagements like this. Like, it doesn't matter if you can hold off the defender and not get pushed over. You can't release the ball. Like, you can't shoot or pass. So you don't even need high physical, because you're just going to get stuck either way. The only difference is you don't fall over.
To do here is try to give different
made some bad decisions in this game.
Just kind of movements. That's what it's about. Like little movements like that, and being able to kind of see how the players that react. Now, this is one big thing that I noticed. Now, since the time of recording these clips, I think this has kind of reverted back a little bit. So definitely let me know in the comments below. When these kind of runs before, the player would usually leave his leg out. Now, this is a great example here where I'm running 50-50 and I'm actually sandwiching this player who's got low energy and low stamina, and he still holds his own. I can't actually trigger that animation for him to put his leg out. Again, another sharp touch there with Salah, where I just roll him off the shoulder,
that is so smooth.
With that little flick there with the left
so
foot.
Quick.
Tight dribbling combined with the physicality. Again, with Neymar, Neymar's not the strongest player. You're going to burst past here and just go straight in a straight line. And even though I'm caught up, I'm still able to kind of keep that distance.
You used to be able to hold L2 or whatever line in this situation to shield. Like, you could choose to shield, and what it would do is you would lean into Tchouaméni, kind of let the ball go in front of you, and then that would slow Tchouaméni down. Then you'd be free to go back for the ball and dribble in.
I'm caught up. I'm still able.
If you look at real life, Hazard is like the perfect example of that. Like, he's not a strong person, but he knew how to position his body so well that effectively he had like really good shielding, despite not being strong or would have high physical contact in the game.
Keep that distance between the opponent's defender and the ball. So I do feel that
is Matt, like you're saying in the comments there, that Bully Messi has been bad despite extremely high physical contact. I uploaded a video a few months ago saying like the best players I've ever used in eFootball, and I'm pretty sure that Bully Messi got number 1, or it was Maradona. I can't remember. I can't remember who won it exactly, but it was one of them. And then when eFootball 25 came out, everyone was like, "Oh, new physical contact. Oh, this bully Messi's so good now. He's the best player in the game now." And I was like, he's actually way worse now because he keeps getting stuck into these physical battles and it slows him down. So, like, I think when you're reading the comments on YouTube, Twitter, or wherever you're reading them, a lot of people that comment on this game, like, there's nothing wrong with it, but they don't really know what they're talking about a lot of the time. Like, I mean, the amount of people that come in and say, like, come into my stream and say, "Oh, why is your I don't know, these overalls are pretty high, but like, why is your player 98 rated? My one's 103. Like, you're a noob, mine's better." And it's like, bro, it's just not how it works. That's actually Pez Pepe did a video on this today. A lot of people who just don't know what to talk about, and I think Konami listen to them a lot more than they listen to us, unfortunately. But like, probably what they should do. They want to run a business. That is what they're doing at the end of the day.
As well. These are all minuscule changes. Honestly, they are minuscule changes. You still have the issue there where that is a stonewall penalty, in my opinion, and the collision system just doesn't trigger it. So it's not like that has changed too much.
Get the
that
ball?
is, in my opinion,
You got the ball, I don't know.
all. So I do feel that is slightly changed as well. These are all minuscule changes. Honestly, they are minuscule changes. You still have the issue there where that is a stonewall penalty, in my opinion, and the collision system just doesn't trigger it. So it's not like that has changed too much. That is still a huge issue that needs to be worked on. The collisions in general, I think, are the poorest they've been in a long, long time. Now, when you talk about the collisions...
Here's another example. That pass is definitely getting intercepted at the moment. Number 3 is definitely getting that. Like, this guy's not even... Like, he's not controlling the defender, so... At the moment, it'll let it go through. But he would, if he's playing right now, he wouldn't even have to be controlling number 3 there.
Long
just intercept the
Now, when you talk about the collisions, if somebody fouls you or they do a shoulder charge or anything like that, it obviously is manual defending. And I do think that if you are a high-level manual defender, you won't notice a lot of this stuff. If you're coming up against a guy that knows how to manually defend, manually trigger defensive animations and stuff like that, I feel like a lot of this stuff is placebo. But I do feel like there is a kind of a slightly different, varied play to the game. And I was kind of struggling what to do on this video because... And then on the other side, I know a lot of people that have commented on the live streams and watched the videos.
The next and the goal. Okay, like, I don't really care about that, to be honest.
Tweaked patch notes. So lads, that is it for this V3.
Man, he's wearing the Strike Arena. That's the Strike Arena jacket. He's wearing the Strike Arena jacket. Look at him. That's literally Barry. When are we getting Barry in this? A Barry DLC, man. I'd be there for that. I'd be there for a Barry DLC in Strike Arena.